optimistically. It is said that the pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity, the optimist, the opportunity in every difficulty. Difficulties certainly await us, but hopefully we will concentrate on the opportunities for success. But how can we know when we have achieved success? Is success measured by the kind of car we drive? The kind of house we live in? The kind of lifestyle we lead? No. How can we ever expect to feel successful if we always have to play catch up with the Joneses? Somebody is always going to have something bigger or better than we have. The grass is always going to be greener on the other side of the fence. So what are we supposed to do? We've got to accept the fact that we are who we are. We must search long and hard to discover our hidden talents and then cultivate them to their fullest. Everyone has something special about his or her character that should not be wasted on bypassed opportunities. It is our duty to help each other identify those talents and seek those opportunities. What if Monet had become a politician instead of an artist? What if Larry Bird had chosen football over basketball? Their full potentials may never have been realized. And what made them successful? Why did they earn the respect that others of their professions did not? Their career choices were based on what they enjoyed doing, and because they enjoyed it, they did it with all their heart. As Henry David Thoreau said, if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. This is the famed secret of success. Being able to look at what we've done and say to ourselves, good job, whether we're attorneys, bricklayers, mailmen, teachers, or whatever. There are some people who will always scorn us and compare our jobs to theirs with an air of superiority. We have to learn to ignore their disdain, because if we feel we've done well, then we have. The only way to be successful is to try to the best of our capabilities. Our goal should be to be our best, not to be the best. Booker T. Washington once said, "Success is to be measured not so much by the position one has reached in life, as by the obstacles which he has overcome while trying to succeed." If we have all the money, all the power, all the education, and all the opportunities for success in the world, and we are not content with the way we are inside, then we are not successful. But if we try our best in all we do and know that we could have done no better, then as the final reckoning is completed, we can say with Robert Louis Stevenson, "That man is a success who has lived well, laughed often, and loved much, who has filled his niche and accomplished his task, who leaves the world better than he found it, whether by an improved poppy, a perfect poem, or a rescued soul, who never lacked appreciation of earth's beauty or failed to express it, who looked for the best in others and gave the best he had. Then we'll know that we have succeeded."
Thank you, Stephen. One of the proud traditions at Shadow Mountain High School is the presentation of the senior gift by the outgoing senior class president. At this time, I call to the podium the president of the class of '87, Bridget Berry, and to accept the gift, the president-elect of the 1987-88 Shadow Mountain High School student body, Jenny Jeffries.
After many hours of deliberation, the senior class officers were able to select a gift that we felt would represent our gratitude towards Shadow Mountain High School. We're confident that the gift we have selected will be not only useful, but will also help beautify our campus. During our sophomore year, the auditorium was completed. This auditorium has left our class with many special memories: the talent shows, the musicals, and the concerts. The senior class officers saw a need to furnish the auditorium lobby, so we arranged to have built 4 custom-made upholstered benches to be placed in the auditorium lobby. And Jenny, it is the wish of our class that this gift be used and appreciated by the community of Shadow Mountain High School. And I'd like to present this plaque to you to be hung up in the auditorium along with the benches.
Stay there.
Your presence will be remembered long after you're gone, both because your personality will have an impact on the student body, and your gift of furnishing for the lobby of the auditorium will be a permanent reminder that you have passed through Shadow Mountain High School. We accept this gift, and it is a great appreciation. Coming tonight, we see the parents, the graduates, and the relatives, all very sad to see you all leave. But don't forget the classes that are below you, that have looked up to all of you these past years. We will also extremely miss all of you next year. The student body wants to wish all of you the best of luck in the future, and thank you very much.
And now another Shadow Mountain tradition started several years ago, the farewell address. I'd like to introduce to you at this time the current president of our 1986-87 student body in his last day in office, Jason Bauer. Jason.
Friends, parents, and fellow graduates, it is safe to assume that during our 13 years of school, this night is the most important of our lives. It is the happiest night of my life, yet also the saddest. Happy because we are about to open the golden doors to the future, to explore the world around us, and to pick our own environments in which to live. Yet the night is sad because to do so, we must leave families and friends, which together formed a support that kept us strong for many years. The separation is hard, but sometimes it is necessary in order for each individual to grow and to mature. Many emotions are cluttering our minds as we decide which pathways we will walk. It is natural to be scared and nervous, but remember, Shadow Mountain has prepared us well to meet our future demands. For those of us who are moving away from home, there is a certain amount of uneasiness about whether we will be successful or not. Just remember that being successful is a state of mind that isn't measured by millions of dollars, but by career happiness and peace of mind. Be sure of yourself. Remember that life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. Many of us are scared, others nervous, and still others happy. But the one emotion I'm sure that we all share is pride. Proud that you have endured 13 years of school. Be proud that you have conquered every obstacle in your path, and be proud of all your other accomplishments. We have helped mold Shadow Mountain into a great high school, the greatest high school on earth in my mind. You have accomplished many great things, and your greatest accomplishment is the fact that you are and always will be a Shadow Mountain Matador. So hold your heads up high and be proud, for we are the future leaders of America. And if this graduating class is indicative of the talents of this generation, our country will rise to new heights. Thank you.
And we learned this week that Jason has been accepted and will attend the United States Naval Academy at Annapolis. At this time, I would like to come forward the students involved in a special presentation, and as they make their way to the microphone, I will introduce them to you. All members of the senior class, our vocalists, Lance Brown, Matt Busey, Shane Everett, Rob Fisher, Steve Floyd, Chris Freiberg, Kelly Houle, Gina Powell, Shannon Townsend, Krista Vineyard, Donna Ziebel, and Amy Zook. And our instrumentalists, Bill Bowling, Dave Daston, Derek Nelson, Mark Rosen, Val Woodchurch, again all members of the class of 1987, and some members of our brass ensemble, together with a little assistance from the underclassmen. 22 members of the class of 1987. At this time, I'd like to introduce another member of the Paradise Valley Governing Board with a personal message, Candace Nagel.
My father was kind of a cowboy, and it's amazing when you're kind of shook up how you revert back to your childhood, and this saying kept going through my mind as I was looking out there knowing I was going to have to come up here and talk to about 5,000 people. And he used to say, "I'm as nervous as a rabbit in a bobcat's mouth." And that's exactly what I thought about when I was sitting there. I don't remember the speaker, and I'll bet a lot of us don't remember the speaker at the graduation that spoke when we were graduating. I graduated about in 1965. And I think they probably said something like, "You're just about to enter the first day of the rest of your life," or something like that. But for a lot of the people in 1965, the door that they were going to enter was the draft board. And over the draft board was a sign that said, "This way to Vietnam." In 1965, we were reading a far-off fiction novel, and that novel said, 1984. You read that as history. A lot has changed. The music was popular, Beatles, Elvis. You're now listening to U2 and Psychedelic Fur, whatever that is. The cars were 65 Mustangs. Now it's a Suzuki Samurai. We used to take our class rings, and the boys and the girls would exchange them, and we'd take like Angora fur and tie them around there, or yarn or tape or something like that. Today you don't really exchange them as much. Maybe you put them on a chain around your neck or something like that. A lot of things have changed. And when you come back for your 20th reunion, I want you to smile and think about this. That fat person with the pimples is going to look like Christy Brinkley or Don Johnson. And that person that maybe got a D in speech class or had a speech impediment is probably going to be making about $250,000 a year as a network broadcaster. And that girl or that guy that you could not even stand to stand next to at a dance, let alone dance with them, you'll be walking in arm, happily married. Smile, I know it seems far out. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about my own mom and dad, and I think you all will probably think a little bit about your mom and dad when I do. My mom and dad won't be written up in Who's Who of America, and they're not going to be interviewed by Barbara Walters on the nighttime special that she has. But they raised us kids, and they raised us really well during real hard times. And they taught us a lot of good things about working hard. They taught us to suspect those that were on the make, but to respect those who just could not make it. Come back to your community. Come back to your family. Come back to the traditions that got you started here. What I'm saying may seem kind of old-fashioned. And I talked to some people and asked them what I should say, and they said, "I think you should say those old-fashioned things." Because basically, they're not that old-fashioned. I've got my cards out of place here. I want to tell a story about a lady in our audience tonight. And maybe there are some grandmas and granddads that can relate to this. And this is just one story about how families are and how they stick together. There's a lady out there, and she's a grandma, and her name is Ruth. And she's on Social Security, and she lives 2,500 miles away. And she took that money from her Social Security income, and she flew 2,500 miles here to see Dennis tonight graduate. She loves him, and a lot of you grandmas and granddads and moms and dads are here because you love these people, and we appreciate that. The reason I know what I'm saying is not so old-fashioned is because I picked up a book that is printed by the 1987 Shadow Mountain Matadors, and in it was a quote, and this was about high school days. It was written by Todd Badberg, and he's a very current young man, and I'll quote what he had to say. He said, "My mom and dad are in the other room, and I hear them saying things I never thought they would say. They said, 'My goodness, he's graduating from high school, and we're so proud of him. He's handled himself very well.' And then he looks at his grandma, and he says," Grandma's standing there with tears, and she said, "Oh my goodness, Todd, my baby is graduating." And then some of the last words that he says are, "I sit here in my chair tonight, and I hold my diploma as if it was gold." Well, Todd was right. Your education is your gold. Your family is your gold. Your community is your gold. And your future with this country is our gold. Hold that gold close to your heart, because you will be a rich person if you do. We love you. And because we love you tonight, when you're out there at those parties, be really cool. And if you need us, you call us, because we'll be there, okay? No questions asked. Congratulations.
Thank you, Candace. At this time, I'd like to call to the podium the superintendent of the Paradise Valley Unified School District, Dr. Marjorie Kaplan. Dr. Kaplan, I present to you this evening the members of the class of 1987 at Shadow Mountain High School. Each member of the class before you this evening has successfully completed all requirements for graduation from high school as specified by the state of Arizona and the governing board of the Paradise Valley Unified School District. Therefore, I respectfully request that you award a Shadow Mountain High School diploma to each member of this class.
Dr. Brokowski, on behalf of the members of the governing board of the Paradise Valley Unified School District and its administration, it is a privilege for me to accept your certification that the members of the class of 1987 at Shadow Mountain High School have met all requirements for graduation, and to authorize the presentation of diplomas as symbolic of that achievement. Good luck, graduates. Congratulations to you and your parents.
Thank you, Dr. Kaplan. As we prepare for the presentation of diplomas, I would like to identify Mr. Ed McKenzie and Mr. John Spear, members of the Social Studies Department, as tonight's introducers of the class, and we will have Dr. Kaplan and Mrs. Nagel present the diplomas to the class. At this time, would the department chairs and the presenters prepare for the distribution?
Stephen Gilbert Floyd.
Jason Robert Bauer.
April Ruth Foreman.
Bridget Lynn Berry.
Kelly Joe Nichols.
Dennis Allen Herrig.
Jeffrey James Talapa.
Amy Jean Zook.
Ante Kajik.
Gina Marie Powell.
Michael Lance Stewart.
Kelly Marie Houle.
Valerie Ann Whitchurch.
Shane David Everett.
Matthew James Bussey.
Krista Glenn Vineyard.
Mark Andrew Rosen.
Robert C. Fisher.
William Preston Bowling.
Christopher Eric Freiborg.
David K. Daston.
Shannon Sue Townsend.
Derek Forrest Nelson.
Donna K. Zybel.
Jerry L. Adamani.
Joel David Abbott.
Diane E. Allen.
Hailey Adamali.
Daniel Stephen Alvey.
Heike Alberton.
Robert Ryan Ariza.
Andre R. Allegri.
Matthew J. Arnold.
Travis M. Allen.
Sahar Sue Ayub.
Therese DeRay Andrews.
Stephen T. Backherms.
Christina Noel Armstrong.
Lori Lynn Bard.
James S. Auslus.
Angela Elaine Basilman.
Cynthia Eileen Babinski.
Scott Andrew Beecham.
Brenda K. Baggett.
Gina Benedict.
Matthew David Baker.
Pamela K. Bergfeld.
Lainey Lynn Bauer.
Martha J. Black.
Karen Annette Beal.
Brian Richard Bowles.
Amy Lynn Bollier.
Kelly